Hi guys, welcome to Algebra 1, Lesson 73. This lesson is about factoring trinomials, and you might be looking at it going, oh my, this looks complicated. It really actually isn't. In fact, these are pretty fun, so just hang in there. Let's review for just a minute what a monomial is. A monomial is one term in this form, where a is a real number coefficient, x is a variable, and n would be your exponent. Your exponent can be 0, making x1 and 1 times a being just a. So you can have it in that form, but that's your basic monomial form. If you have 2 terms, then you have a binomial. 3 terms, you have a trinomial. And we call any nomials, just any old nomial, we call them polynomials, okay? Now, when you multiply 2 binomials, we've done this before, you end up with something kind of like this. X minus 6, x plus 3, multiply. X times x, x squared, x times negative 6, negative 6x. Then we have 3 times x, 3x, 3 times negative 6, negative 18. Add them together, negative 6 plus 3, negative 3x, so on and so forth. You have the one for negative, you have the one for when they're both positive. These are what they look like. These are in your book. These are called quadratic trinomials. That's what we call a polynomial. These are special polynomials that have a power of 2. Okay, their highest power is a 2. Now I want you to notice something about these trinomials. The first thing is that the first term of the trinomial is the product of the first terms of the binomials. So that means it's a product of these first terms, xx, xx. You get x squared. The second thing is that the last term of the trinomial is the product of the last terms of the binomials. So this last term is a product of these last terms. Negative 6 times 3, negative 6 times negative 3, positive 6 times positive 3. You get your last term. Then the third thing to notice is that the coefficient of the middle term of the trinomial. So here, negative 3, negative 9, positive 9. The coefficient is the sum of the last terms of the binomials. So negative 6 plus 3, negative 3. Negative 6 plus negative 3, negative 9. Positive 6 plus positive 3, positive 9. Interesting, right? Okay, so fourth thing, if all signs in the trinomial are positive, all signs in both binomials are positive. If a negative sign appears in the trinomial, at least one of the terms in the binomial is negative. So we have negatives, negatives. Okay? So now I'm going to teach you how to work backwards. If I wanted to work backwards from this trinomial to find out what 2 binomials made this trinomial, this is what I do. I set up my parentheses to represent my 2 binomials that I'm multiplying together. Now I know that the first term is the multiplication of the first terms of the binomial. So it would be x times x would get me x squared. Now I have negatives here. So this means that at least one term is negative. So I'm going to go ahead and put a negative in there. Now I know that this back one is negative 18. To get that negative 18, one has to be negative and the other has to be positive, because a negative times a negative would give me a positive number. Now, whatever 2 factors that I multiplied together to get 18 have to also add together to get negative 3. So my factors of negative 18 are negative 1 times 18, negative 18 times positive 1, negative 2 times positive 9, negative 9 times a positive 2, negative 3 times a positive 6, or a negative 6 times a positive 3. To figure out which factors go here, you have to add them together, and they need to equal negative 3. So negative 1 plus 18, well that's 17, so nope. Negative 18 plus 1, that's negative 17, nope. Negative 2 plus 9, that's positive 7, so that's not it. Negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. Negative 3 plus 6 is positive 3. No, I want negative 3. Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. So it's x minus 6 and x plus 3. And you would multiply that together in order to check it. And you can see here that we've already done that, and that's what it is. All right, let's try another one. Here I have x squared minus 8x plus 16. I'm going to move my chair just a little bit so you can see better. X squared minus 8x plus 16. Let's set it up. So I have my two parentheses, and I know I have x squared, so that would be x times x. I have a negative sign here, so at least one of my terms is negative, and I have a positive sign here. So that means they have to both be negative to get to that positive, because a negative times a negative equals a positive. So the factors of 16, that would get me to negative 8. So I have negative 1 times negative 16. This one I don't really have to write two sets. It's negative 1 times negative 16, negative 16 times negative 1, that's it. Negative 2 times negative 8, or negative 4 times negative 4. Which one added together gets me negative 8? Well, negative 1 plus negative 16 is negative 17. Negative 2 plus negative 8 is negative 10. Negative 4 plus negative 4, whoop, negative 8. So that's the one. That's all you gotta do. It's really easy, right? Okay, so let's try some more examples. Bear with me for just a minute while I erase all of this so I have some more room and we can put up the other examples. Okay, so I have x squared minus 14x minus 15. I also have x squared minus 3x minus 10. Then I have negative 5x plus x squared plus 6. Then I have x squared plus 5 plus 6x. Okay, let's start with our first one. X squared minus 14x minus 15. So I'm going to set this up. I know that the first term has to be the x times x. Then I have negative 15, negative 14. Since this one is negative, one has to be positive, the other has to be negative. So my factors of 15 could be negative 1 times positive 15, or negative 15, excuse me, times positive 1, negative 3 times positive 5, or negative 5 times positive 3. Well, let's see, which ones of these are most likely to get me to 14? Let's start with this. Negative 1 plus 15, positive 14. No, not quite. Negative 15 plus 1? Negative 14. So I have negative 15, positive 1. You can check it by multiplying them together and seeing if you get this answer. Okay, let's try the next one. I have x squared minus 3x minus 10. Set up my parentheses. I know that it's x times x. This is negative and so is this. Since the back number is negative, that means one is negative and one is positive. My factors of negative 10 would be negative 1 times positive 10, negative 10 times positive 1, negative 2 times positive 5, or negative 5 times positive 2. Let's see, I'm looking for 3, so I'm going to start over here. Negative 5 plus positive 5, or excuse me, negative 2 plus positive 5 is positive 3, but I'm looking for negative 3. Negative 5 plus positive 2, that's negative 3. So it would be x plus 2 and x minus 5. All right, let's look at the next one. Negative 5x plus x squared plus 6. Notice here I have all of the elements of these quadratic equations, but I have it in the wrong order. So I'm just going to reorder it into the format I'm used to looking at before I start. Putting my x squared in front, then my x, then my whole number. Start with my parentheses, and I know that it's x times x. This is positive and this is negative, so that means they're both negative. So the factors of 6 would be -1 times -6, or -2 times -3. Well, to get to -5, that would have to be -2 plus -3. So it's x minus 2 and x minus 3. All right, one more. X squared plus 5 plus 6x. Well, I'm going to reorder this again so it's in the format I'm used to looking at. Put my 6x in the middle and my whole number at the end. Draw my parentheses. I know that I start with x. Everything is positive, so that means my factors are positive. The factors of 5 are 1 times 5, or, well, that's it, 1 times 5. So that has to be it, 1 and 5. All right, so now let's pause and do your practice. Okay, you should be back now. Letter A should be x plus 6 and x minus 7. It doesn't matter if you had x minus 7 first or x plus 6 first. It's either way is the same. Letter B should be x plus 7 and x minus 6. As long as you have the 6 is negative and the 7 is positive, it doesn't matter the order. And letter C should be x plus 2 and x minus 8. Okay? That is it. We are done for the day. I'll see you in our next lesson. Bye.